Have you ever believed you were eating healthy only to discover that what's on your plate might actually be destroying the very organs keeping you alive? Most people never see it coming. They drink their morning protein, shake grill, a lean piece of chicken, or pick up a low-fat deli sandwich thinking they're doing the right thing. But what if I told you that the same high-protein habits praised by magazines and fitness gurus could be silently driving your kidneys toward failure one meal at a time? Every week I meet patients who did everything by the book. They exercised, stayed hydrated, cut sugar, and trusted labels that said clean or natural. Yet they walk into my clinic exhausted, swollen, and confused as their lab results collapse in front of them. I'm talking about people who look perfectly healthy on the outside while their kidneys are fighting for survival on the inside. That's the terrifying part. Kidney decline doesn't announce itself with pain. It whispers through fatigue, brain fog, and tiny shifts in blood pressure until suddenly it's too late. Here's the truth. No one tells you once your kidney function drops below 60%, every extra scoop of protein, every bite of processed meat, and every energy shake you gulp down can flood your bloodstream with waste. Your kidneys can no longer filter. And that waste doesn't just stay in your kidneys, it poisons your heart, your bones, even your brain. According to the National Kidney Foundation, over 37 million Americans are already living with some form of kidney disease, and 9 out of 10 don't even know it. That's not just a statistic, it's a ticking clock. I'm Dr. Richard Hale, and in this video, I'm going to pull back the curtain on the truth about protein, the kinds that heal, the kinds that harm, and the deadly mistakes that most people never question until it's too late. My goal isn't to scare you, it's to wake you up before the damage becomes irreversible. Because once you understand which proteins strengthen your body and which ones silently destroy it, you'll never look at your next meal the same way again. Most people believe protein is always good for the body. Build muscle, stay strong, live longer. That's what we've been told for decades. But here's the hard truth no one ever explained. When your kidney function begins to drop, that same power protein can silently transform into a slow-moving toxin that exhausts your organs from the inside out. It's not because protein itself is evil, but because your kidneys, the body's natural filters, can no longer handle the overload. Every extra scoop, every oversized steak, every high-protein diet trend creates a storm of nitrogen acid and phosphorus waste that your weakened kidneys simply can't clear fast enough. I remember one of my patients, Thomas, 58 years old, full of discipline, the kind of man who tracked every calorie and never skipped a workout. He came to my clinic confused. His blood pressure was climbing, his ankles were swollen, and his lab results kept getting worse, even though he was doing everything right. When we dug deeper, the answer shocked him. His morning protein shakes, double servings of meat, and constant focus on fueling muscles were flooding his bloodstream with toxins his kidneys couldn't remove. Within 2 years, his creatinine levels had doubled, a clear sign. His filtration system was drowning under the weight of his good intentions. Scientific studies back this up. Research from the National Kidney Foundation found that once kidney function drops below 60%, excessive protein accelerates decline dramatically. The waste products thicken the blood, forcing the heart to pump harder, while inflammation spreads across every organ that depends on clean circulation, your brain, your skin, your muscles, even your energy levels. Those feelings of fatigue, brain fog, and swelling, they aren't random. They're SOS signals from your kidneys begging for relief. So if you've been told that more protein equals better health, pause. The truth is, once your kidneys start struggling, every extra gram becomes a heavier burden. What used to build strength now chips away at your foundation. The key isn't to cut protein entirely, it's to choose the right kind in the right amount for your body's current stage of health. Understanding that difference can be the turning point between decline and recovery, but just knowing this isn't enough, because what comes next is even more dangerous. It's hiding in foods that look perfectly healthy on the surface. Here's where things get even trickier, because not all protein comes from the obvious places. Sometimes the real danger hides behind labels that say lean, low fat, or even heart smart. I'm talking about processed meats, turkey slices, ham, bacon, sausage, cold cuts, the so-called healthy convenience foods that millions of people eat every single day. They look harmless, even clean, but inside they're ticking time bombs for your kidneys. What makes them so toxic isn't the meat itself, but the invisible chemicals added to preserve them, sodium, phosphate, nitrates, and stabilizers that your body absorbs almost completely. One of my patients, Robert, was a retired teacher who thought he was eating as clean as possible. Every day he built his lunch around a turkey sandwich on whole grain bread with a slice of lettuce and a bottle of water. No fries, no soda, no junk food. Yet week after week his blood pressure kept climbing and his ankles puffed up like balloons. When we reviewed his meals, the truth was brutal. Those healthy turkey slices were loaded with inorganic phosphates, the kind your kidneys can't filter out. Each serving delivered more phosphorus than an entire home-cooked dinner. Over time, those phosphates pulled calcium from his bones, hardened his arteries, and pushed his kidneys closer to failure. Science confirms this danger. Studies from the American Society of Nephrology and the European Journal of Nutrition show that processed meats double the absorption rate of phosphorus compared to natural foods. Add in the sky-high sodium levels, often 700 to 1,000 milligrams per serving, and you've built the perfect recipe for hypertension, fluid retention, and kidney scarring. That's why even small everyday choices like a healthy sandwich can backfire so hard. So what's the fix? It's simpler than you think. Trade the convenience trap for real food. Bake or grill fresh chicken switch to wild white fish, or use organic tofu seasoned with herbs instead of salt. These choices still give you the protein your body needs, but without the phosphate overload that's silently aging your kidneys. Remember, your kidneys don't need perfection, they just need a break. But just knowing this isn't enough, because what comes next hides in something even more deceptive. The glossy tubs of health powders that promise strength while quietly pushing your kidneys toward collapse. You might think you've escaped the trap of processed meats by ditching sandwiches and switching to a clean protein shake. It feels smart, right? Quick, easy, healthy, the perfect modern fix. But here's the shocker. Those glossy tubs of protein powder might be doing more harm to your kidneys than any slice of bacon ever could. The truth is, your body was never designed to digest 20 to 30 grams of concentrated protein in a single gulp. For healthy kidneys, that's a challenge. For kidneys already under strain, it's chaos. Every scoop triggers a surge of nitrogen waste, phosphorus, and acid that floods your bloodstream all at once, forcing your kidneys to fight a losing battle they were never built for. I'll never forget David, a 52-year-old software engineer who wanted to get back in shape. Every morning and evening, he mixed a double scoop of whey isolate, proud of his routine. But within a few months, he couldn't shake the exhaustion, and his lab results told the story his body was too tired to explain. His creatinine spiked, his energy plummeted, and his kidneys were waving a silent white flag. The very powder he thought was rebuilding him was slowly breaking him down. Science doesn't lie. Research from the American Journal of Kidney Diseases found that high-dose protein supplements in people with reduced kidney function can raise creatinine and blood urea nitrogen levels in just 4 weeks. And that's not all. Many protein powders contain hidden phosphate salts disguised under names like sodium hexametaphosphate or calcium caseinate. These additives make powders mix better and last longer, but they also get absorbed almost entirely into your bloodstream, accelerating kidney calcification and bone loss without you even realizing it. So what's the better way? Go back to real food. Replace powders with whole, gentle proteins your kidneys can handle, like egg whites, baked white fish, or organic tofu. They digest, slowly release nitrogen gradually, and give your kidneys the breathing space they desperately need. Real nourishment doesn't come from a scoop. It comes from balance. But just knowing this isn't enough, because there's another source of healthy protein that's even more deceptive, one most people still eat every single week without realizing how it's silently corroding their kidneys from within. And here's where the story turns even more deceptive, because while protein powders overload your kidneys instantly, another form of healthy protein destroys them slowly, meal by meal. I'm talking about red meat, beef, lamb, even those expensive grass-fed cuts you see in health magazines. They may help you build muscle, but they also build something else: acid inflammation and uric acid crystals that erode your kidneys from the inside out. One of my patients, Helen, was 68, full of life and proud of her clean eating. Every Friday night, she and her husband grilled lean steaks instead of eating fried foods, convinced it was the smarter, heart-healthy choice. But month after month, her uric acid levels climbed, her blood pressure refused to settle. and her lab results showed her GFR dropping below 45. When she asked me how can something so normal be so damaging, I told her the truth. Red meat is dense with purines, natural compounds that convert into uric acid during digestion. When your kidneys are strong, they can clear that acid easily. But once filtration slows, the acid lingers, forming microscopic crystals that scrape and scar the delicate nephrons like sandpaper on glass. The science is undeniable. A 15-year study published in JAMA Internal Medicine tracked over 63,000 adults and found that each additional daily serving of red meat increased chronic kidney disease risk by 23%. Red meat also carries a heavy acid load, disrupting your body's pH balance and forcing your kidneys to neutralize it by leaching calcium and magnesium from your bones. Combine that with saturated fats that clog your microvessels, and it becomes a triple-hit: acid, fat, and inflammation, the perfect storm for kidney damage. When Helen replaced just 2 of her weekly steak dinners with baked white fish and tofu, her numbers began to turn around. Her uric acid dropped, her energy returned, and for the first time in years, her blood pressure stabilized. Small swaps, big results. That's the power of eating with your kidneys, not against them. But just knowing this isn't enough, because there's another trap, waiting one, that hides behind the word plant-based, and it's tricking millions who think they're finally doing everything right. Just when you think you found the perfect solution by going plant-based, there's another hidden trap waiting, and it's sitting quietly on your pantry shelf. Canned beans, chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans. They sound wholesome. They look healthy, and every fitness influencer tells you they're the ultimate clean protein. But here's the catch: for anyone with even mildly reduced kidney function, those convenient canned foods can become a daily overload of sodium, potassium, and phosphate that slowly pushes your kidneys toward exhaustion. I met Gloria, a 59-year-old woman living with stage 4 kidney disease. She was one of the most disciplined patients I'd ever seen. No soda, no fried food, no processed meat. Every day she proudly made herself a colorful bean salad, thinking she was fueling recovery. Yet her potassium levels kept spiking, her bones grew weaker, and her lab reports painted a scary picture. When we traced it back, the answer was sitting right in her kitchen canned beans. Each cup contained more than 600 milligrams of potassium and up to 500 milligrams of sodium soaked in the salty brine that makes them taste fresh. Her kidneys, already struggling, couldn't flush the excess out fast enough, and it began interfering with her heart's rhythm, a condition known as hyperkalemia that can trigger sudden cardiac arrest without warning. Science confirms this danger. Studies published in the New England Journal of Medicine show that excessive phosphate intake from preservatives and brines doesn't just harm kidneys, it also accelerates vascular calcification, literally hardening arteries from the inside. Those same inorganic phosphates found in processed meats often appear in canned vegetables, too absorbed nearly 100% by the human body. Over time, they strip calcium from bones, raise blood pressure, and increase mortality in chronic kidney patients. But here's the good news: the fix is easy and incredibly effective. Instead of canned beans, choose dried beans. Soak them overnight, rinse thoroughly, and cook them yourself with herbs or garlic instead of salt. This single change can cut sodium and potassium in half and reduce phosphate levels dramatically. When Gloria made that switch, her potassium normalized within weeks, her energy returned, and for the first time, her lab results began to stabilize. It was proof that healing doesn't always require medicine. Sometimes it just requires awareness. But just knowing this isn't enough, because what comes next might surprise you. Not every protein is your enemy. In fact, the next few foods can do the exact opposite. They help your kidneys heal, rebuild, and finally breathe again. After hearing about all these hidden dangers, you might start to wonder if any protein is safe at all. But here's the beautiful twist: not every protein harms your kidneys. In fact, some can do the exact opposite. They nourish, repair, and even protect your filtration system from further decline. These are what I call healing proteins, and they're simple, affordable, and backed by real science. Let's start with one that almost no one expects: white rice. Most people dismiss it as empty carbs, but when kidney function begins to drop, white rice becomes your best ally. It's low in potassium, and phosphorus provides steady energy and prevents your body from breaking down muscle tissue for fuel. I once treated Aaron, a 61-year-old who avoided carbs completely because he thought they were bad for him. Within weeks, his energy crashed and his kidneys struggled even more. When we reintroduced small servings of white rice alongside balanced proteins, his lab stabilized and his fatigue disappeared. White rice didn't harm his body, it gave his kidneys room to breathe. Next comes tofu, soft, unassuming, yet one of the most kidney-friendly proteins on the planet. Patricia, 66, had been fighting stage 3 kidney disease for years. She was tired, foggy, and scared of every food. When we replaced 3 of her weekly meat meals with tofu dishes, everything changed. Within a month, her bun levels dropped, her energy lifted, and her mental clarity returned. Studies from the Journal of Renal Nutrition show that soy protein creates far less acid than animal protein and even reduces inflammation through natural compounds called isoflavones. The result, less metabolic stress, slower kidney scarring, and better overall balance. Then there's wild-caught white fish like cod, clean, light, and rich in omega-3s. Richard, 71, was trapped in a cycle of swelling and fatigue until he swapped red meat for fish twice a week. 2 months later, his phosphorus normalized, the swelling disappeared, and he said, "I finally feel light inside." Research in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology confirms that fish protein improves kidney circulation and reduces inflammation markers in older adults. And finally, the purest protein of them all, egg whites. They deliver almost perfect nutrition with nearly no waste. Susan, 63, was terrified to eat protein because she thought it would raise her creatinine. But when she began eating 4 egg whites a day, scrambled or boiled, her numbers improved and her body felt renewed. Egg whites contain high-value albumin protein, but almost zero phosphorus, potassium, or fat, meaning they strengthen muscles without overloading the kidneys. These 4 foods, white rice, tofu, white fish, and egg whites, prove that the path to kidney healing isn't about restriction. It's about choosing proteins that work with your body instead of against it. Real food, gentle digestion, consistent balance. That's the secret to long-term kidney strength. But just knowing this isn't enough, because understanding which foods to eat is only half the battle. The real transformation happens when you learn how to use them in your daily life. And that's what we're diving into next. Now that you know which proteins heal and which ones harm, the real power lies in how you apply that knowledge every single day. Because knowing what to eat doesn't change your lab results. What you do with that knowledge does. The truth is, kidney healing is not about perfection. It's about consistency. And the easiest way to start is with what I call the 3-day protein audit. For 3 days, don't change a thing. Simply write down every source of protein you eat, from your morning eggs to that healthy snack you grab in the afternoon. Seeing it on paper is powerful. Most people are shocked when they realize how much of their protein comes from high sodium or phosphate-loaded foods they thought were safe. Awareness is the first step toward transformation. Once you've identified your hidden trouble spots, it's time to make small strategic swaps that create big results. Replace your morning bacon or sausage with egg whites. Trade that deli sandwich for baked white fish or a tofu stir-fry. Choose fresh home-cooked meals over anything processed. Every swap you make is like taking a weight off your kidneys, and the beauty is these changes compound quietly over time. Week by week, your blood pressure improves, your swelling fades, and your energy comes back. Real science supports this. Studies in Kidney International reports show that patients who make small, consistent dietary adjustments can reduce kidney stress markers by up to 40% in just 12 weeks. And here's a crucial step most people miss. Learn one simple cooking method for each kidney-safe protein. It keeps your routine easy and sustainable. Bake your cod until it flakes perfectly. Keep boiled egg whites ready in the fridge, or grill tofu with olive oil and herbs. The easier you make it, the more likely you'll stay on track. Kidney health isn't built overnight, it's built meal by meal. Finally, spread your protein evenly throughout the day. Instead of piling it all into one big dinner, aim for 3 to 4 ounces per meal. This keeps your metabolism steady, prevents overload, and allows your kidneys to process nutrients smoothly. Over time, your body will feel lighter, clearer, more stable, because you're finally giving it what it was designed to handle. Every small, mindful decision counts. Each meal becomes a quiet act of protection, each day a small victory for your kidneys. But just knowing this isn't enough, because the final step, the one that decides whether your kidneys truly recover, begins not with science, but with mindset. And that's what the ending of this journey is all about. If you've watched this far, that already says something powerful about you. You care, you're paying attention, and you're ready to take control of your health. Healing your kidneys isn't about perfection or expensive treatments. It's about small, steady actions, one meal, one decision, one mindful moment at a time. Every time you choose real food instead of processed hydrate, instead of skip water rest, instead of push through fatigue, you're giving your kidneys the chance to recover, to rebuild, and to thank you in the only way they can through better energy, clearer labs, and a longer, stronger life. Remember, knowledge is only the first step. What truly changes your future is action. Don't let this information slip away after today. Save this video so you can come back to it whenever you need a reminder, and subscribe to this channel for more doctor-backed, science-based kidney health insights every single week. My goal is to keep you informed, empowered, and confident in every health choice you make. Turn on notifications so you never miss the next tip that could protect your kidneys or the story that could inspire your own recovery. And if you're feeling discouraged, take a deep breath and know this: your body hasn't given up on you. Your kidneys are more resilient than you think. Even if your numbers have gone up, even if you've been told it's too late, healing can begin the moment you start caring differently. You hold more power than you realize, and it all starts with your next meal. I'm Dr. Richard Hale, and I want you to know that hope is still alive. Your kidneys can heal, your strength can return, and your best years are still ahead of you. Stay consistent, stay aware, and stay hopeful, because recovery always begins with awareness and courage.